What's up, good people? Welcome back to my channel where we bond over our favorite TV shows, trending topics, and everything in between that we care about. So today we are looking at a groundbreaking series that just premiered on Thursday on WeTV called the TS Madison Experience.
WeTV done set me free.
This new series follows the transgender influencer and social media sensation as she navigates her way through fame into the mainstream. Now, I've known of T.S. Madison for well over 10 years, but I've just recently started following her, I would say, in the past maybe 2 years. Now, just a little background on her. She really is a true testament or a story of rags to riches, as she started out as a sex worker in the streets of Miami, which then led her to being a porn star. And being the businesswoman that she is, she took that platform and then parlayed it into a mainstream social media influencer empire, really.
I am T.S. Madison and it's my turn.
So basically this show takes us on a journey of watching her from this point in her life, taking her career to the next level with her creative family and her staff, which also includes her birth mother, who she reunited with and moved into her home. Now, I'm also fairly familiar with many of the cast members through social media. Most of them actually have YouTube channels as well, or they're on YouTube series, which I watch. Starting with Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi is more than my assistant. Chi-Chi is my daughter.
She met him, as she said in the show, when he was 16, and she took him under her wings, and she has been basically taking care of him and trying to get him on the right path ever since. He's kind of like...
If you don't believe me, that keeping it real ain't the best thing, then take a look at this.
Bitch, that's not gonna work, because, bitch, I'ma still do my thing. I'ma still turn up, bitch, I'ma still go to the club, I'ma still smoke my weed.
He's really still trying to figure things out and then work through some of his trauma and pain as well, which I think we may get to see on the show as well as outside of the show, where I do feel like some of this mainstream attention is already starting to affect him and the relationship or dynamics between him, Madison, and the rest of the crew through some of the things that have been happening on social media and him airing some of his grievances out loud and in public. And I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole in this particular video, and hopefully it clears itself and becomes a moot point. But long story short, Chi-Chi is a work in progress.
Case closed, next case.
Then we have Craig, also known as Craig the writer Stewart, who is known on this show as
Child, that thing is a bit of a diva.
And what's important to know about Craig as we get into the show, because he's another person that I follow, Craig is his own entity, like his own brand. And so with this show, I think some of the conflict that I'm already seeing off the bat is that Craig is his own brand. He has his own thing going on. He has written plays before, kind of like Tyler Perry style situation. He's written 4 books, all of which I've read. He's a great writer. He's actually entertaining as well as inspiring. And he's definitely not a follower. And I think that's where we might run into some potential conflict on this show. If not in the first season, definitely in the second season, hopefully when it gets picked up. So as we saw in this episode, Craig has made it very clear that unlike everyone else,
Madison and I collaborate together. There are people here that work for Madison. I'm not one of those people.
That in and of itself is true, and it's not an issue. But I think when you broadcast it in a way, it's a little bit of a dig or a shun at T.S. Madison's brand, but also everyone else that is on the team, kind of like I'm separating myself. And then the comment that he made about,
if it wasn't for me, this show would just be and giggle.
To me, seeing a comment like that, if I was T.S. Madison, would pretty much be the nail in the coffin for anyone on my team who out loud said something like that, because to me, you're questioning my ability and my brand. And I actually disagree with Craig, like totally with that comment. I do feel like he has definitely added a level of polish to the actual Queen Supreme Court. However, I feel like you can hire people to do those things. He's not the only person who can produce a show and be a showrunner. Whereas, yes, he has added to the show. It is a role that can be filled by anyone else with that talent, which there are producers all over the place. And many of them who would love to have that job. And so based on episode 1, and to me that was a lot, and I'm sure as we go through the season, there's gonna be more to come. If you're like ramped up like that already, I would just say for me, if I had someone on my team who was putting themselves on that much of a pedestal under my brand, I don't see longevity in that. Then we have Leggra, who is TS Madison's newer manager. I honestly don't know that much about her besides I think she was involved in some of the planning of some of the trips that TS Madison has had over the years with her followers. I think Leggra was an integral part in that. And so now she's her new manager because the old manager, there was a whole blowout with that too. If you follow social media, you already know about that. I won't give any energy to that. So I really don't have much to say about Leggra at this point.
Case closed, next case.
Then we have Oliver, who's also a social media influencer. He definitely has some notoriety around some of the reality web series that are on YouTube. So he definitely has a following. I feel like Oliver is the perfect addition to this show and really Madison's team as a whole. I truly do think he has her best interests at heart. And I think it also shows in the high quality of work that he provides for her.
And that's on who?
Mary had a
That's on Mary had a little lamb. I'm tired.
And then we have Miss Mary.
Miss Mary is my mama, but in a way, she like everybody mama.
She's also already known by TS Madison's followers, and here and there, Madison will have her on a video. So everyone is familiar with Miss Mary and her character. She is definitely also known to be the epitome of a mother's unconditional love, having a child who is transgender and loving them unconditionally and being able to learn who they are in spite of whatever your preconceived notions of who they should be really is a true testament to true parenting. And the fact that she spreads that unconditional love amongst everyone in TS Madison's circle as well. She is no doubt a woman of God. But what I will say, as much as I love God, when she made the comment about not having sex for, I think, nearly 27 years because she wanted to be pure when she prays for people, that sounds like torture. That sounds like something I can never sign up for.
Wow. Next question. See ya.
And then we get to Tiffany New York Pollard. Anyone who's ever watched reality TV knows that Tiffany is a veteran in the game. Now, although she's an executive producer on the show, I'm pretty sure they added her to the show to make TS more palatable for the mainstream. But I'm hoping that they'll quickly realize that this is totally unnecessary. Knowing TS Madison and following her, I know that she could carry this show by herself. She really doesn't need a sidekick, and especially a sidekick who isn't really in her core group. I know they're saying they're best friends offline or whatever, and that may be made for TV or that may be true, but nonetheless, I really don't see the need for her to be a consistent cast member on the show. And honestly, she seems like a bit of a distraction because she doesn't really fit the mold or the narrative of really what's happening. It kind of just reminds me of an old school sitcom with that additional character who is not necessary to the show, almost like Family Matters and that extra daughter who disappeared.
These are our children, Eddie, Laura, and Judy.
Hi. Hi.
That's Tiffany on this show. Like, we're not gonna miss her if she is not on any episodes. And it's no slight against New York. She's fine. I enjoy her as a character and all of that. I just feel like for this particular show, as a main character, not necessary at all.
Case closed, next case.
Now, what I enjoyed about the first episode was that it was not just comedic and basically ish and giggles. It definitely had a message in it, and I love that part of it. And I love the fact that it combines humor and entertainment along with a message that I feel like is needed for the mainstream. And I felt like the heartfelt conversation between Miss Mary and Madison really showed that this show has a message that those in the LGBT community and their parents and close family would be able to identify with.
So prior to your own child, you didn't really know much about trans.
I know nothing of it. I'm learning about trans experience, everything through you. You had a wall up, and I didn't understand all the hurt you had been through in your life. When I found out, I had no idea what you was going through.
And I think if this show stays on the path of having moments like that, as well as the ish and giggles, I think it definitely has potential for longevity.
You better do it, baby girl. Yes. Look at this.
Now, the other part of the storyline, which I think is going to be the theme of this first season, is going to be Madison preparing to do a residency in Atlanta of her Queen Supreme Court with Tiffany New York Pollard if everything goes as planned. Now, I know that the Queen Supreme Court has already been taken out on the road and they've made really good money. But I will say that I'm with Craig in questioning.
The life of this show is going to be people who live in Atlanta. People will think, well, I just went last month, I don't need to go again.
Because it's a little bit different than Vegas, which is a destination, especially for the long term, would a residency in Atlanta of the Queen Supreme Court be? And I think the main difference for me is the fact that where she compared it to the RuPaul residency in Vegas, Vegas is a destination spot. It's where people come to vacation. Pre-pandemic, there's a lot of activity in Vegas, and you'll have people just showing up and they're looking for some place to go and shows to go to. And Atlanta is not necessarily a destination spot except for, you know, gay pride weekends and things like that. So I'm kind of with Craig. Like, if she can get to Vegas, I think it would be amazing. And eventually, I could definitely see that in her future. But I would question a residency in Atlanta, unless it's like, you know, maybe a month or two at most. But what do I know?
All right.
But we'll see as this season unfolds. And I definitely know that she's been hinting towards having something else going on, like maybe they're already building out the new space or studio, like potentially maybe they're working on a standalone studio for the Queen Supreme Court and maybe all of her other productions, which is great and needed to get strangers out of her basement for sure. Because I wouldn't be comfortable with that, like everyone coming to my house for me to do this in front of them. But I ain't mad at her grind or hustle. So for those of you who may be wondering, wait a minute, he missed a cast person who was on the first episode. Why didn't he mention Miss Sophia?
Miss Sophia is one of our favorite judges. Oh, calm down.
Well, that was on purpose. I wanted to save Miss Sophia to the end because Miss Sophia as a character and as a person has a much deeper story that most people in the mainstream have no idea about. She's actually a legend in the LGBTQ community, and she's also known by the community to be the person who created the concept for a very famous African-American grandmother character. And yeah, I'm talking about Tyler Perry's Madea character.
Who said that?
Yeah, I'm about to go there. Now, although Tyler claims that he got the idea for Madea based on his aunt and his mother and when they would be playing cards and things of that nature, yeah, we've all heard the story. I've heard it a bunch of times. I'm sure many of you have. Sophia has a very different version of how Madea came to be.
Because what really motivated me to tell y'all when I first met Tyler Perry, because you know, like when Tyler Perry did interviews with Oprah and everybody said, where you come up with the character Madea? Oh, I get it from my aunties and growing up, my aunties and my aunts and my grandmother. I used to see them and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, you know, I'm going to let him have that.
Now, it's very well known in the gay community that Tyler Perry actually created Madea based on Miss Sophia's character from the 90s.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Hallelujah. I have the crown of life. Baby, I'm sorry, but I'm an old lady and I'm going to need this right here to sit down. So get your purse out the way, little punk. Security. Uncooperative homosexuals in here. I need them to be removed expeditiously. I don't know, I just heard. And the Bible say warning come before destruction, and I warn you, and homosexuals still. Amen. Amen.
She alleges that after the shows, he would come up to her, tell her how funny she was, and then literally tell her like, ooh, that joke you did about, you know, FUBU or this or that, I'm going to use that in my show.
But anyway, I was hosting this drag show called The Stars of the Century, and it was at Trax, the warehouse. You know, this is where I started, and this is where I first met Tyler Perry at this Monday night show. He used to freaking our Monday night show, but I moved here in 1999. Tyler Perry started coming to the show in 1999. I moved here.
So he started coming as soon as you got here.
He would come to the show, he'd sit up under the spotlight, he would sit back there behind the camera, and he never wanted us to take photos of him. He never wanted us to video him. And he said, you know, even he was saying, now if they start taking pictures and stuff, you know, I'm leaving and da 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 da. So we respected his wishes. But after the show, Tyler Perry would always come up and tell me, you know, you crazy, you know, you stupid, and you know I'm gonna put such and such you said in the show. So I'm just letting you know now, I'm gonna write such
such, and I'm gonna put that in the show. And one of my most famous lines that I said at the club one night, and he came and he told me that he was gonna put it in the show, was my FUBU line. When I had went up to somebody and I said, "Ooh, baby, you giving me FUBU," and they're like, "What? No, that's not FUBU. Yeah, you are fat, ugly, big, and uncomfortable." So he took that line and he put it in one of his plays.
Oh, man.
So then, so Tyler Perry would come back to the show, and then when Tyler Perry would come to the show, he would bring, celebrities with him.
Right.
I remember Tyler Perry told me, he said, "You crazy, but I'm gonna put you in one of my plays. I got you for my next play."
And she was kind of okay with it because she thought basically that Tyler Perry was about to put her on as well.
Yeah, he said he was gonna put me in the play. So he come back and he said he gonna put me in the play. So then he come to the show and no play, just come and get some more lines, get some more jokes. But he would give me a nice little tip. He would give me a nice tip. He said he gonna put something in the play. He said, "You crazy now?" He just give me this money, I said, "Okay, like cool out, y'all. He gonna put me in the movie. He said he gonna put me in the movie." Blah, 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 blah. So then,
damn, Flip.
never got that opportunity. Then I went to the radio station. So fast forward, I go to V103. Then Tyler Perry comes and he offered me a role in the movie I Could Do Bad All By Myself.
Because you became a big local celebrity.
And the reason that I feel now that he offered me this role in this movie is because Tyler Perry never saw me, which I never saw me, moving outside of the gay club. However, when the opportunity, came for me to go to V103, I got some more exposure. I was exposed to a bigger community. And I don't think Tyler Perry saw me moving outside the gay community. So I was the best kept little secret in the gay community. And Tyler Perry was happy with that because he could act as though he was Miss Sophia, in the heterosexual community.
Right. Now some might say, really? People have been dressing like men for years. And Miss Sophia agrees.
Then everybody's like, he ain't stealing your stuff. Men been dressing up in wigs for years. You ain't the first one to dress up in no wig.
Right.
No, I'm not. Flip Wilson was doing it. Yeah. That's why I wanted to do it, because I saw Flip Wilson doing it. Then I see Eddie Murphy doing it. I see everybody doing it. Martin Lawrence doing it. Jamie Foxx doing it. Robin Williams doing it. But the difference is, a lot of men that dress up in wigs, they are not saying the same exact lines that I say at my gay club that Miss Tyler Perry has been coming to lifting these lines.
That who?
That Tyler Perry has been coming to lifting these lines.
Okay.
The exact same lines. No edit, not adding nothing extra to it. So, I used to try to be the bigger person every time. Like all the gay people that you need to sue him. You need to stop letting him come to the show. He ain't doing nothing but stealing your Once I had the time to just sit back and think about it, the reason that he didn't want us to take pictures and to video him while he was there was because he saw the bigger picture.
Right.
He coming to the show, he gonna steal all my shit, he gonna go and put on this wig, and he's gonna become Miss Sophia himself and call his Miss Sophia Madea. So it's like, oh my God. So everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry done stole all your stuff. You with the gun and the purse, because I used to do, every time I do my show, I have something in my purse. I would have guns, knives, bricks, all of the stuff that he does, as Madea, he come and he would, it's stuff that he's doing. I used to do my Tina Turner. Tina Turner was one of the imitations that I always do.
Oh,
hello everybody. I say hello everybody. How you doing? I do my Tina Turner. Tina Turner always in his show. When he do my deal, Tina Turner in the show. So then it's just like Miss Sophia, the Color Purple. I do all my Color Purple stuff. Then Tyler Perry. When you see Tyler Perry, he doing Color Purple.
Okay, and we get that too, right? But we also know as soon as your star starts to rise, the haters will come in and try to take credit for your talent. So I'm sure that's why Tyler Perry has paid her no mind, right?
And I was thankful that he put me in the movie, and I agreed to do the movie because it's just like I wanted, my parents, and this being my first movie. Actually, it was my second movie, but it was my first movie that y'all saw.
Right.
The animated film that I did, Kasha and the Zulu King, that was really the first movie that I did. And the reason I was glad to do it as Joe was to for my parents, so my parents could go and tell all their friends, my son is in Tyler Perry movie, blah, blah, blah. And then when I was in the Tyler Perry movie, he made me a lot of promises, a lot more promises.
Yeah. Like
I got you and I'm gonna do this. I'm not finna go into all that. I'm finna do this. I got you and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. And the stuff that he said, it did come true. However, all the promises that he made to me, none of them have come true. So that's why I'm speaking out about it now. A lot of people talk about, well, why is she talking about it now? Because they say, you gotta mess up your opportunity to work with Tyler Perry. I don't give a damn no more. Tyler Perry is not the only director. I look forward to working with Spike Lee. I look forward to working with Steven Spielberg. I look forward to writing my own okay?
Now, unfortunately, this is not the first time, and it definitely won't be the last time, that someone with more savvy takes advantage of the small guy. But as far as the TS Madison Experience, this makes me wonder, how much screen time will the show give Miss Sophia? And I hope a lot, because I honestly think that she would make a much better, consistent co-host than Tiffany New York Pollard for the Queen Supreme Court. But that also makes me think, if she becomes a part of the main cast, will Tyler Perry and Madea be exposed?
All the people asking me, Mr. Sophia, did Tyler Perry steal your stuff? And I used to say, no, you know, I don't think he stole my stuff. I'm telling you right here on FM Digital Live, Girl Talk Today, yes, that stole my character, and his character didn't come into existence. Madea didn't come into existence until 2000. Sophia has been in existence for 20 years, 20-some odd years. You don't believe me? Her, show these the clip.
I don't know, I just heard. And the Bible say war didn't come before destruction, and I warn you, sexual still. Amen. Amen.
Nevertheless, I just wanted to do my little part to shift the misinformation in the pop culture history books, while showing some love to this much needed groundbreaking show. So with that, until next time, until I upload the next video, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.